Hey difference maker, it's Kirby. It's great to have you here. What I'm going to show you in this video is how you can attract more leads for your coaching business or your personal services business if you're selling you and you want to get the attention of your market. Now, this is the same method that I've used and developed over the last 3 years in my own business, and it's allowed me to sell over $1.1 million of work to corporate clients around Australia and also a few other places in the world too, which is kind of cool. So if you are looking for more clients for your business, have a look at this. I'm sure it will help you. So grab yourself a pen and paper and let's get straight into it. Now, over on this side of the board, I've got a very complex looking diagram. I'm sure this has got a proper name, but for now we'll just call it the Kirby diagram of greatness. And this first aspect that you need to get right is pretty simple, and it sounds very obvious, but you need to understand who your customer is. And what I see a lot of the times with coaches that I speak with, when they say, right, Kirby, this is my struggle, I say, right, what are you selling? And they say, well, I've got this fantastic program and I've got all these NLP certifications and all of this stuff. And I'm like, that's okay, but what are you selling to the customer to solve their problem? What does it mean for them? Because the customer doesn't care about whether you've got a degree or whether you've got an NLP certification or whether you can eradicate their previous demons from a previous life. What they care about is, I have a problem, I need a solution. And so what you first need to look at if you want to attract more people is to start to understand, that's great penmanship, the problem that your audience has, the problem that your client has, and you also need to understand the solution that they want. So what is it that they want? So we'll just write in there, solution. All right. If you know what the problem is and you know what the solution is and you can describe this solution to them and this problem to them in a way they don't understand, guess what's going to happen? They're going to say, hey, give me some help. What's next? And that's how you start to attract clients without you having to go out there and sort of direct message people and sort of bombard people's inbox. You just start to talk their language on your social media and you start to create videos like this that solve that problem and provide that solution. And I'm going to show you more of this as the video goes on as well. Okay, so sounds pretty obvious, I know, but just ask yourself the question, do you know the problem? Do you know the solution? And as an extra challenge, go and have a look at your social media for the last 7 days and have a look at all of your posts and just ask yourself, is it solving a problem? Is it providing a solution? In other words, is it desired by your client because it moves them towards this solution? And is it valuable because it's helping them to move towards that solution? That's really the two important things. Is it desired? Is it valuable? Okay, so that's number one. Once you've done that, and you know that you understand your client better than you maybe did before, and certainly better than they probably understand themselves, you now have the ability to kind of think like your client and get inside their brain and ask the questions that your client would be asking themselves. And that's where the real power is, and ultimately, that's marketing, right? Which moves us on to this second box. And what this relates to is what information do they need from you so they know you can solve the problem. And this is something that I've been a big fan of for a long time. In fact, this method is how I built my coaching business selling to corporate clients. And I'll tell you how I did it. Essentially, I understood my clients and I understood that in my niche, in my market, most of them struggled with sales. They struggled to specifically manage their sales teams. So what I would do is I would look at, well, what kind of information can I give them which helps them to solve the problem? And what ended up happening was, my approach to these people was that I would go and train their sales team for them for free so they could get some results in advance. And then once they had those results, they would say, hey, that was fantastic. Do you want to do more work with us? And of course, then I was in a box seat. I could say, yeah, of course, this is what it costs. This is what it looks like. Let's go. And that is exactly how I did it without having to be all pushy and kind of price driven and really getting into their inbox and saying, come on, let's do business. I just purely led with that value from the very start. And I still maintain that in my business now. And that's exactly what I teach all of my clients now as well. So that's the way you got to lead. So this next part is information, okay? So information. I write like a doctor, but I'm certainly not a doctor. And my pen seems to be running out, which is fantastic for a video where you're teaching, of course. So, information, what does that look like? Well, the first thing you have to look at is and I'm going to switch to this slide now, is what is the client's path to progress? And what I mean by that, I probably just disappeared off camera there, sorry about that. Path to progress for the client. And I'll show you how that works in a second, okay? The second thing that we need to have a look at when we're looking at this is what is your delivery, and I think I've gone off screen again. What is the way that you deliver the information that the client needs during that process, okay? So let's just suppose, and I'll give you some examples here, if you were a life coach, you know, lots of life coaches, they do a fantastic job, and you wanted to help people and you knew that their problem was that they'd just come out of a really crappy relationship. The solution they want is to feel better about themselves because their self-esteem is a bit low and they're not feeling real great about life. You know, they can't imagine what life's going to be like because they've lost this person they've been with for 10 years. Now, this first bit, the path to progress, I'll come to, but you've got to look at, well, how would they like that information? Could you have a call with them? Would you send them a PDF which they can read and sort of understand and do some exercises? Could you send them a video training like this one? Could you give them a book that you've written? Could you send them to a seminar with other people of like mind so that they can all learn how to overcome their self-esteem issues? So that's what I'm referring to when I said delivery method. So for me, my delivery method in my business for the last few years has been get in the room with their sales team for free. So I would approach the builder. I work with building companies and I would say to that building company, hey, I believe that your sales team could do with a little bit of finesse. I'm going to come in and show you how to do it so you don't have to worry about it because you're a builder. And I want to show you how to do that for free for a period of time. And then based on that, if you're happy with the results, then we can go on to a monthly fee. And that's exactly how I built my business up to full calendar, speaking all over the world, fantastic stuff, leading with value first, okay? So let's come to this path to progress. And I'm going to switch pens because this one appears to want to die on me. So I'm going to switch to the trusty black marker. And the path to progress is right behind me here. I'm just checking on my screen that I'm still on screen. So this is path to progress. Now, right now, your client has a problem, okay? So they are currently down here, problem. Where they want to be is solution, which is up here, solution. Or a better way to put that would be outcome, feeling, thought, thing, solution. And in between those 2 points, there is currently a gap. There is currently a knowledge gap, a confidence gap, an ability gap, whatever that gap might be based on what you sell or what you solve for them. And your job is to fill in the blanks between the problem and the solution so that you know exactly what would need to happen for them to make progress. So let me give you some examples. If you are a fitness coach, so if you teach mums how to lose that last 5 pounds, you might say, right, the first step in this path to progress is I need a food diary. So I need them to send me a food diary because if they know what they're eating, then I can advise them on the next step, which is diet do's and don'ts. Okay? So now we know what they're eating. Now we're telling them what to eat and what not to eat and how they can do that. Then you might say, all right, here's a exercise plan. And then once they've started to exercise, you might say, all right, next thing you need to do is to be able to check your measurements. Check measurements. Great handwriting, by the way. And then after that, you might say, all right, well, once you know what to eat and once you know how to exercise, then you know what your current measurements are. Then I'm going to show you how to do the exercises. How to do the exercises. And then the next step before you provide them a solution might be that you check in with them. So, you know, check in. And then so on and so on and so on. So you can see what we're doing is we're saying, well, where are they? Where do they want to be? What is the first step they would have to take? The second step they would have to take? The third step? So on, so on, so on, so on, so on, until they reach their result. Okay? So let me give you another example. If you were currently working with, or you wanted to work with a business owner, and you're a business coach, and you say, you know what, I want to teach business owners how to go from having no sales, no money, to lots of sales, lots of money, time to go and spend traveling the world and sitting on a super yacht in the south of France. What's the first thing you might have to do? Well, the first thing you might have to do is to get them to understand their numbers. Now, once they understand their numbers, then you might say, right, who's your target market? Once they know their target market, what's that target market's problem? Sounds familiar, right? And so on and so on and so on until that last solution. Now, why is this important? The reason this is important is because whatever this first step is here, that is the information you have to give them in advance without asking for anything. That's what people would often refer to as a lead magnet or an opt-in or whatever name you want to give to it. Essentially, it's giving someone something that helps them and shows them that you can solve the problem so that they can go and do the exercise with or without you, depending on the delivery method that you need to choose. And then they can see that it actually works. What that will do for the client is they will then say, hey, I've got more confidence now. And I feel better about this situation than I did 5 minutes ago or 5 days ago. And so that builds trust in you. And it builds trust in you to be able to deliver the solution that they're searching for, okay? Now, when they do that, the logical thing that's going to happen is they're going to start looking at you more. And they're going to start asking, well, what's next? And so at that stage, then you have to have a mechanism to be able to capture that person and have a conversation if that's the next step, or to just lead them into a program or a product or a group or whatever it might look like for your specific business. And this video is not about going into that detail. It's about giving you this high-level structure so you can see where are you at in your current business if you're selling yourself or your services, so that you can say, right, you know what, I'm doing okay here, but I could probably do with a bit of finesse there. That's the whole purpose of this video for you. So if you don't understand your client's problem and the solution they want, start with that. If you know that information, then look at what needs to happen for them to get the result. What are all the steps involved in them achieving that result? And if they achieve that result, and I want to give them the first step, how would they want that first step delivered? So let me tell you how you might not want to deliver it. If you were talking to a busy business owner, that works, and they've got no time, you don't want to go and send them a 300-page book to read, because guess what's going to happen? They're going to say, I'm too overwhelmed, I don't have time for that, I'm busy, put it on the bookshelf, you're not even in the game. Instead, if you said, hey, how about we jump on a Zoom call or a Skype call, and I'll just spend 30 to 40 minutes just teaching you something to help you, or you send them a video that's 6 minutes long because it's easy for them to watch while they're sort of driving, you wouldn't watch a video while you're driving, on a train, or if they're listening to it as they drive, that would be a more appropriate delivery method to allow them to achieve the first step in this path to progress, okay? Hopefully that's all making sense. Now, with all of that being said, now that you know what their problem is, what their solution is, you know exactly what that first step needs to look like, and you know how to help them with that first step with that delivery method so you can get it in front of them, then the next question is, what's your approach? And what I mean by approach is how are you going to get in front of them? And specifically, how are you going to catch their attention? And what kind of copy, and what I mean by copy is like the words, the message. What kind of message do they need to hear from you so that they can say, ah, that's me? Because what you don't want to do is go and put like generic stuff in your marketplace that's kind of shotgun approaching your market. You want to be able to just hone in and say, bang, that's the person, that's the problem, that's what I solve, this is how I do it, here's the first step, and here's how you're going to do it. So they really, really get it, and they understand that you're the one to help them, and they take action. And so therefore you get their attention with that message, and that's where we need to choose your approach, okay? So there's a couple of things we can talk about with this. In fact, you could spend weeks on just this one topic alone, but I want to give you a couple of concepts to look at right now. So the first thing I want to do is look at your approach angle. And it's really 4 really popular ones that I want to share with you. If I go that way, you'll probably be able to see them better. So the first one, when you're writing your headline, or you're writing any copy, or you're writing an email subject line, or whatever it is, a newsletter, whatever method it might be that you're communicating with your client, you want to use, as a guide, as a very basic guide, one of these structures to start off with your idea, okay? So this first one is how to achieve result without frustration or problem. Let me give you an example. How to grow your business without Facebook advertising. How to get the relationship of your life without dating a heap of idiots along the way. I had to watch my language there. I almost said a nasty word. How to lose weight. I mean, I know these are really basic examples, but how to lose weight without eating food. Or without eating food? That made absolutely no sense. Without giving up the stuff you love. There's a better example, because I mean, obviously you'd lose weight if you don't eat food, right? Second example, what to do if. So what to do if your business isn't making money? What to do if your partner has cheated on you? What to do if you feel like crap every morning when you wake up and get out of bed? What to do if your gym routine's gone stale? What to do if you can't gain more muscle? You can see all of those examples. And what it's doing, it's speaking directly to the problem and the solution that your client has in mind. And it's showing them essentially, here's the headline that's going to get your attention, which leads you on that path to progress, so that you can give them that first step, and so that they can move on from where they are right now. Oh, I just like had a little frog in my throat there. It was kind of weird. Good camera. Good camera. Good video. What's going on with me? Word salad. All right, so what to do if X. Now, this next one is specific, call out. Specific, call out. Now, this is obviously pretty simple. It goes like this. Coaches, do you need more clients? Coaches, and what you can do is you can mix these together, okay? So, specific call out. Attention all business owners. What to do if your business sucks? What to do if you can't get clients? Attention all mums. What to do if you can't shift the last 5 pounds? Attention all athletes. What to do if your gym workout's stale? You see what I mean with that one? So that's a really specific one. Frank Kern calls this dog whistle copy. In fact, I think it was actually Dan Kennedy who called it dog whistle copy, and then Frank Kern uses it in his training. He refers to this concept where you literally just speak to the only person that you want to be heard by, just like a dog whistle. So the dog whistle's that kind of super high frequency that they can hear, and they kind of go, oh, hello. But as humans, we kind of just get on with that day because we don't even hear it, right? That's the exact same style of approach. That's the exact same style of getting attention of the client, okay? The final one is confirm fear. And a good way to do this is to call out the fear that they already have in their mind. So when we can confirm a fear that already exists up here, and we can say it out loud, so they go, ah, I'm not the only one, then they feel like you're going to be able to give them the solution to that problem. So as an example of that, you might start off your social media posts or your advertising or your newsletter or emails with something like, have you noticed that X? Because then you're calling out something that's quite obvious to them. So for example, have you noticed how hard it is to get your Facebook ads to work right now? Have you noticed how difficult it is to get rid of that last few pounds? Have you noticed how hard it is to keep the spark alive in your relationship? That's the sort of headline. What it's doing is confirming a pre-existing fear based on the problem that they already have, so that you're starting to shift them to that solution through your path of progress. Okay. So I hope that's been really helpful for you. If it has, hit share. If you want more like this, head to anthonykirby.com. I will see you in the next video. Remember to always go out there and make your difference.